Alright guys, Oldblue Accord out in the garage. It's a cold day today. Kind of hard to tell. We don't get much snow in the south, so we had a little bit on the ground, and now we do not. Just put some air in my right rear tire, and it's 21 degrees. So yeah, got the heat on like I normally do. And even with it being in the teens this morning, this is just gonna be a garage update for 2025. I'm getting a good vent temp. I'm really impressed at just topping that off. It really hit the mark. And then of course, I'll see it's set at 67. So if I hold it up there, it's reading 67. So it thinks it's at temperature. Now of course the ground and air temperature in here is in the 50s, 40s, 52. Not bad. Yeah, so just got a little fire going here in the fireplace, and I'll twist around so y'all can see me. Yeah, I'm bundled up. It's pretty cold outside, especially for this part of the country. I had some outdoor work to do, so fill that tire up, do the trash and everything. It's a Monday, so it's a holiday, but yeah, it's kind of fun just to have a beer and have a little fire while I'm piddling around in here. Let's go ahead and I'll talk. My wood's not in too good a shape. I got a rick from a guy, and we're gonna turn this off so it don't come on. So I got a rick of wood from a guy, and wood guys are kind of a sketchy bunch, I guess. I shouldn't really say that, but it took him all day Saturday. He claimed he had wood, but it took him all day Saturday. Then of course he comes in with, well, I don't really have a full rick, but I'll give you what I got. And I said, yeah, just bring me some wood, man. So he shows up at 6 o'clock at night. This is like an all-day affair, and most of it was oak. I helped him unload it. Most of it was oak, but a lot of it was cedar. And cedar is not to be burned in a wood stove. Now, there's probably some debate about that, and obviously I busted some up. But the problem with cedar is it's got a lot of sap in it, and it sparks a lot, and it can really clog up your stovepipe. So I'm just kind of using it as kindling, and then I've got a little bit of this oak, but it's hard to tell, but this oak, it's wet. I just split this piece and I can feel it with my finger. It's pretty wet. It's pretty heavy. So the wood wasn't even seasoned. He just took some scrap wood and busted it up quick and got me for $100. He got me for $100, and then he got me for another $20 because he said, well, the delivery fee because I'm out of his range. Well, he never really said that he wasn't near my house. He's like a county away, so he kind of played that game. He got an old junky truck, and I'm not out to bash somebody, beat somebody's brains out over $20, so I gave him another $20. So for $150, got some kind of crappy wood. It's good enough. Let's go ahead and shut that off, and yeah, get going here. It kind of takes the edge off. This is a pretty big stove. I forgot what the BTU is. It can go over 100,000. It's not super efficient. You can hear that there's a fan in the back that runs, and it kind of blows. It blows air up across. Go ahead and turn it off because it's kind of annoying. Maybe I'll just turn it down. Yeah, it's kind of annoying sound when you're with the mic on. And yeah, we'll just let that eat for a while. Like I said, it takes the edge off. Get my kindling out of here. That catches fire. Yeah, but no, so 2025, good start to the year. I guess we'll go around and, while it's cold out, I always want to check all the battery voltages and stuff. I know I seem to beat to death batteries and battery voltage and checking your battery, but every week on a forum, I read some kind of crazy story. Guy says he started his Camaro up. It runs for a minute and it shuts off, and then he can't start it, but the headlights are on. So he says it's the battery. He doesn't do any checking or anything. Doesn't get a meter, doesn't check the voltage. he just automatically assumes, you know, he's just going to go ahead and, you know, hot swap some parts, I guess, or something. But lately what I've been doing with the batteries is I had a bunch of these, what they are is batteries for like a battery backup for like a big server room. And they're kind of older, and I'm kind of not really taking care of them. But this was a good time when it's cold out to put a good charge on these. Now this one I don't think is really any good. I'm trying to think to see what the amp hour is. I thought it was 50 amp hours, but I think it's less than that. But they're not very big batteries. But I put this one on charge overnight. And the reason why I like to do that is because, see, this battery got pretty hot. Like, it's warm to the touch. And I've had it off the charger. So when you got it cold on the ground, the cold kind of keeps that safe. So it's not a bad time to charge up your batteries in the middle of the winter. So I'm also going to charge this one up. So let's see what the voltage is while we're doing that. We'll just go around and check all the batteries. I'm kind of just doing this on the handheld. Oh, then somebody, I'm getting all these crazy comments. So, straight line is DC. I know that. Also, same with amperage. Somehow I was doing amperage and he claimed I was on the wrong. But you can't do DC on the AC side. It doesn't read anything. I don't know why. It's just a chat. It's just an automated chat thing that people do. It's just the crazy comments you get on videos nowadays. It's just so funny. So we'll go back to DC. Let's see if I can do. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. But yeah, let's try it. But this battery was reading 13.2, and let's see what we got. It's hot still. Yeah, 12.9, so let's leave them a little bit. So that one might not be good. I'll let that sit a couple days and cool down. We're going to let this one charge up, obviously. We'll go ahead and check the Camaro. Now, the Camaro battery, so it's a 2015. No, sorry, 2018. 2018 Camaro, right? And yes, it is supercharged. Somebody got on the forums and told me that my car wasn't supercharged. It's not an LT4 motor, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And I looked at his was like a V6. He had a video of it too. I'm like, well, you put your video up of your car, and I'll put a video up of my car. Never heard from him again. It's just typical. I kind of feel bad for people telling stories like that, especially when you got video to prove something. That's kind of sad. I don't know. Maybe I'm being mean-spirited. This is kind of a Monday morning shout-out video. Ooh, 1197. We're low. So yeah, this battery's, you know, 2018, and it's 2025. I am thinking about replacing it, although it's not let me down yet. I'll put a little charge on it in the next couple days. That's definitely down below 70%. So, okay, that's good. It's good to know. And then, you probably all remembered I got the Sprinter van. Well, the problem with the Sprinter van is it doesn't fit my garage, and it is cold outside, and I'm not real big on working on vehicles outside when it's 20 degrees out. I have been starting it. It's been starting pretty good. It's a little hard to start when it's below 20. You gotta let the you basically have to let the glow plugs kind of warm up a little bit. I usually do like 2-3 times with the key cycle, and then let it crank a little bit, and maybe 15 seconds of cranking. And that's still the same old fuel. I still haven't taken all the fuel out of there and put new fuel in. I need to do that. Idling with a diesel, you use such little fuel that not used much up. I mean, I'm still at the same half tank, so you know, that's just, I'm going to keep working on that. But yeah, we're going to need a little bit better weather. I got all the parts for it. You can tell this wood just doesn't want to burn good. It's pretty hot fire. Let's see what the IR says. IRs are fun. But yeah, 120, 130. That's without the fan. That's actually a pretty good wood stove temperature, really. Just for kind of warming it up in here. It would take hours to warm it up. But I got a bunch of parts in. Oil, filters. I really actually haven't gone through it all. Someplace in here is the filters and everything else. I've even got stuff for the Camaro. I mean, I got all kinds of. I kind of went wild. So transmission. And then I can tell you about the transmission is I did get the dipstick for it. You have to buy a dipstick. And people are just freaking out all over the internet. Well, the reason why you don't have a dipstick in modern transmissions is because they're very worried about contamination from and stuff in your oil, so in your transmission fluid, especially moisture. So that dipstick would be the number one place that moisture could get into, or any kind of contamination. I mean, you're talking a very, very small amount in the oil. So they just have a sealed dipstick, basically dipstick tube, and then you get a test dipstick to check it. Well, I checked it running, and even it's on an angle, but the fluid's low, so that might be part of why the transmission is a little wonky. I got to get it on level ground. I got to get up to temperature. Temperature is very important. You don't want to overfill it at all. It's an electronic type transmission, so work to do. Got some work to do with that, but got most of the parts. I got a whole new fluid set. It's that NAG 1 transmission. It's like in Chrysler products, Challengers, Dodge Challengers and stuff. So let's stop in and have a brew. I don't know if I'm allowed to do on camera, but we'll talk about Oldblue Accord a little bit. Yeah, so ooh, the wood stove feels good. Oldblue did great this year. We had a really nice fall, and I drove it quite a bit. Now the air conditioner doesn't work, so it was a little bit. It's hard to get the kind of windshield defrosted. It's the first world problems, but it's a little hard to get the windshield defrosted in the morning, and then keep it clean and all that. There's a couple times I actually drove one window down, so it's kind of funny. I forgot modern cars with good air conditioning, they defrost the windshield real quick and all that. But Oldblue's been doing good. Let's see if I've got the hood prop ready to go. So the hood prop went bad on Oldblue years ago, so I just use it. I carry this copper pipe, and we'll go ahead and check this battery too. Now this battery is kind of what I call a dime store cheapie. If you guys remember right, it was just a diehard. I think it was one of the cheaper ones at AutoZone. Apologize for doing this one-handed. Let's see here. I think that's gonna be good, not fall on me. Find out. I've had that drop on me before, so it'll be my fault if it does. Let me just look and make sure. Yep, good. So yeah, the old diehard, and I have not driven Oldblue. This is probably before Christmas. Today's the 20th, so it's been sitting a while, and I haven't charged this battery either. But someday I'm going to invest in the battery tenders for all these vehicles. I keep saying that, and I never do it. But I'm always like short one battery, of course. So let's see how we do here. I don't really have a backlight on my meter, so it might be a little hard to see. Can we do it? Come on, baby. It's kind of like a chopsticks test. Yeah, about the same as the other battery. So it needs a charge. Not too bad. 1195. 11.95 DC. Again, we're on DC. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and I'll leave the hood open. Work on that this week. Little charge on that. And yeah, like I said, Oldblue, she did good. She really ran good. I kind of griped about the, I griped about the E85 pump being far away. It's about 25 miles from my house. And, they ended up not being that big of a deal because it's kind of nice to take a ride. I'd go up 25 miles out, fuel up, and then 25 miles back, I kind of take this back road, which I've used a lot before, and it's kind of fun. It gives me an excuse just to go out and take an hour ride and gas up the car. And the fuel is really good quality. It's really close to 85%. I think it's in the 80s most of the time. So, yeah, it kind of worked out good. And I ran a few tanks through it. So I got kind of really, really crappy miles the first time. Was the fuel is super old. I keep hearing this that ethanol fuel goes bad quicker, and it's just it doesn't. I've got a bottle of scotch that's 11 years old. It's not gone bad. That's 100% pure ethanol, which there's no such thing. It would be like 99.9999% ethanol would try to absorb moisture because there's so much it's lacking. I mean, I'm not a chemist, but I took some chemistry, and this is basic high school chemistry. These guys are way out of their league. But 85% and 15% gasoline or 70-30, you're not absorbing moisture any more than any other kind of fluid, really. Yeah, the condensation gets in the tank and then this and that, but it's just a fallacy. So I ran that tank out, and I didn't get great gas miles, but I let it run idle a lot, especially in the morning time when it's cold. I let it run like 10 minutes, get some heat into it before I take off. And the next two tanks I got back in the 22 miles per gallon, and that's kind of in the city. I mean, I'm talking really short trip in it, like 10 miles round trip, so 5-6 miles one way. It's not getting heated up. That's probably worst case scenario for this car. It's running a little rich because my fuel percentage of the fuel was like 81%, so I ended up kind of adjusting it a little bit, and I'm gonna poke my fire. And yeah, but anyway, it was a good season for Oldblue Cord. Now the bad news, well, I wouldn't say the bad news, but the other news is it got kind of a little funny noise in the, yeah, this wood is just wet. That's a bummer. I kind of left a couple pieces in the garage to dry out, but I hated that the guy sold me wood that wasn't seasoned. And he advertised as seasoned wood because I told him I needed to burn it. We knew we had cold weather coming up, but it's just so typical of these guys. I don't know. Can't win. I am in the city, so there's just not a lot of wood around, but it's just another rant. But yeah, two things to the Oldblue, and one of them I had a little problem with it before is there's something up with the power steering. There's a little shutter or something, and I'll probably do a separate video of it when it's warmer. But even sitting here idling, just moving the wheels back and forth a little bit, there's some kind of shutter. I don't know if it's it could be the stuff's contaminated, the power steering fluid. I doubt it. I change it quite a bit. I'll take a turkey baster and suck this out and do it. And I usually do it in the spring, so my fluid isn't like 20 years old or anything. But the other thing is I am getting some funny kind of top end noise. We're gonna have to look at. It's not horrible, and what's odd about it is it's not on throttle. Usually when you have a load on a car, you hear more noises, but it's more like a coasting almost, and then it goes away as you coast more, so it's almost like an intermediate. So I'm kind of suspecting a rocker arm or something. Maybe we got a lot of wear. I know the camshaft's got some wear, and I had some pictures from years ago of the cam, and it's got some wear on one load, so it might be getting worse. Hard to say. What we'll do is we'll pull the valve cover and just adjust the valves. Haven't adjusted the valves in a long time. I used to a lot, and on Hondas you should. It's usually 12 to 14,000 miles, but nobody ever does it, and that's why you'd see some high wear and stuff, and some funny exhaust valve wear and stuff like that, because people will never ever adjust them. But it's pretty easy to adjust, and it's a good excuse to take the valve cover off and look at the top end a little bit and just see what's going on. Like I said, the noise isn't a catastrophe, but it means that the motor is probably having trouble. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. But otherwise, yeah, it ran really good. Suspension wise, brakes, these DFC, those dynamic friction brake pads, they did pretty good. I mean, the rotors, I turned the rotors and they got rusty again, so it's kind of hard to be fair. But the braking and stuff, and these tires have gotten older. And that's really about, for the garage, I guess, that's really about all I've got to report on. Like I said, we're going to get going on the Sprinter van. And I've got quite a few things to kind of do this year. I want to get all the vehicles running and moving, and that's going to mean the Scout's got to be able to be started really easy and some other stuff. So I've got quite a bit on my plate. I'll talk more about it, but I think it's been a 20-minute video. That's probably good enough. I'm going to enjoy my fire, what's left of it, finish that beer. Got my tire pumped up on the Jeep. I'm ready for work tomorrow. That's really about all I got for Oldblue Accord. Like I said, I could do some more ranting and raving about YouTube. I guess I'm gonna not really do too much this year. I think it's kind of been maybe detrimental to my channel, but I think I'll talk about that more in some other videos. But it's kind of, some stuff's funny, some stuff's not. YouTube's entertainment for me. It's kind of like watching Days of Our Lives. You watch it and then you know it's not always real, but there's some good information on there. And there's some really fun stuff, and like I said, it's entertainment. I've been watching it for a day now. I've been kind of iced in, so I'm just gonna keep that perspective for now. And I appreciate y'all looking at my channel and everything. It's 2025. Hopefully it'll do something exciting and maybe you'll learn something. So thanks again. Oldblue Accord, over and out.